Okay, I'm going to do a survival of about 30 problems, I guess, and then give you, mental projection, visualization of the moves. So the thing here is that I mentally project and see this combination. This is going to be a D8 checkmate on the back rank, okay? So this is a straight checkmate formation that you see. You should be able to see this relatively quickly, that this rook checks, he interposes and gets checkmated. Normally I don't explain it this thoroughly, but I'm trying something new here for the younger players. So again, this is a standard back rank checkmate. Now good players are good players because they can visualize this happening faster than beginners, okay? So you're probably already starting to see this visualization. See this right here? You see this? This is what is known as a battery. Dun 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 dun, score. All right? Visualization is what allows people to play fast moves accurately. We can all play fast moves inaccurately, and that's how you lose. So this is what I call the bump and score. We go to the square to bump the king backwards, and then we're going to back rank checkmate him 2-on-1. We've got 2 attackers on F1. He's got 1 defender. So 2 beats 1 all day long. All right, now, well, this knight does not check this king anytime soon, okay? In fact, 2 takes him 2 moves to do it. Not a big deal, I guess. I'm double check this, man. You gotta be careful. Here, knight F3. And it's a nasty move, actually, to be honest with you. The jerk is just gonna checkmate us. He goes knight to F3. He's actually threatening, not checkmate, but he's threatening to win. He's threatening the queen on us. What a freak. This is actually, they probably have dumbed this down, but man, this guy is actually threatening knight to F3. Because knight to F3 is threatening knight D2 check. If we move our king, he pawn checks us, and then we move our king and he makes a queen. So F6 really, oh, gotcha, F6, knight, F3, F7, nope. I'm telling you, they're thinking that this is killing, but it ain't. Knight F3 is a killer move, man. That is a killer move. Check here. He would just check us there. Yeah, we're going to queen with check. But you got to be careful, man. This thing was really a nasty looking problem. And that's what happens. You saw that I spotted the opponent's threat and was working my way through it, taking the time to cash in. Even though I saw the whole concept of queening that F-pawn. Hopefully you guys see bump and score. There's the bump, and here's the score. Checkmate. And that's what you do in tournament play. You get stuff like that, and you're like, hey, wait a second. I got to slow down, and we got to really make sure. You have to dot your I's and cross your T's to win chess games, I'm telling you. And you saw it right there in front of your face. That was a super lesson, more than you would think. They just a little end game, 3 or 4 moves, bing bang boom. I guess maybe 6 moves, whatever. So this is a standard discovered check trap that occurs in the French defense, most famously. To where you see this in the French defense, there's a trap that occurs where you do exactly what I'm going to do right here. Bammo. Goodbye, queen. Thank you. actually did it one time to a guy in a tournament. In 50 years, I did it once. It's a fairly well-known trap. Okay, now this is another visualization problem. You're like, well, what the heck do we do? Queen takes queen. Well, that's terrible. We're exchanged down. We're losing. We're not going to be able to easily queen that D pawn, which is true. The visualization is there must be something we can do, and there is. We want to look at, when you get to a difficult problem for you, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It's all that matters is if you get to a problem that's difficult for you, if you solve it, it's super. So we look at checks, captures. Well, look at this. Capturing the queen, terrible. We can check him, queen, F1, G1, H1, all of those are terrible. We can also check him with H3 with the pawn. Well, if he takes the pawn, we eat his queen. Hooray, us, right? Well, you're not going to do that. We assume the opponent plays the best possible move, not garbage. If he plays garbage, we'll beat him quickly. Okay, that's fine. So H3 check. He goes, well, I'll just defend my queen with king to G3. Aha! Now the visualization comes in. Do you visualize the move you should play? I'll go ahead and show you. If you see it, terrific. Give yourself a high five, or have someone else do it for you. It's a little better. This is the move. This is the decoy away from the defense. This is an X-ray attack through the king. We're actually targeting the queen. That is an X-ray attack. Okay, now he's toast. We got him. So this one, you got an open. Anytime there's an open line, diagonal or vertical or horizontal to the king, kind of have to look at it to see, hey, well, maybe I can do something. I can win his bishop for sure. I can win queen takes bishop. We're still losing, though. 2 rooks to a bishop. We're dead. But it's a 2-move checkmate. 1, 2. Look, I see a bump in score. Do you? I'm sure most of you said yes. Okay, I've said this before in many of my other videos when you check them out. When you have a knight on the 5th rank and you have this diagonal open for the king, almost every time the best move is going to be queen to that diagonal square. It happens a lot in these kind of problems, and you'll learn, if you do these problems, you'll learn to spot it and just jump on it. Okay, so now nothing is really 100% jumping out. It did to me, but I'm just saying. So what we have here, can't get to his king really, but we can pawn fork this guy. We pawn fork him. Now he has a counter move. He can knight E6 us, attack our queen, and we'll just take his queen with check, discovered check. Knight takes queen. We're going to win a knight. So the pawn fork wins a knight. Well, we win a knight differently. It's okay. Knight to E6 might have been a little bit more of a threat. Whatever. Okay, one of the key things about an endgame, you're trying to push pawns to queen. Rooks belong either defensively behind the pawn to stop it, or offensively behind the pawn to support the push. So he's playing the correct defensive move, rook to c4. I say correct in the conceptual form. This is where the rook needs to be if it can stay there. Problem is it can't stay there because we're going to boot him out with this king. Well, it's over for him. So long, chump. Well, now look, we can win this knight with rook check and then queen takes. However, we have problem. That problem is queen takes H7 is checkmate. So we got to be careful. We've got to be able to check this guy and somehow either checkmate him or reduce his pieces to the point where he can no longer checkmate us. H5 and H6 are not going to do it. They're going to stop it for one move only. F takes, you know, F takes G6, he's checkmating us. H takes G6, queen checkmates us on either H7 or H8. We're in bad shape, but it's our move. Let's hit him with this rook check. Okay. Maybe one of the other rook? I don't know. Open line of the king. Hey, I got a piece that can go there. So visualization, if I want to visualize it, I would just go visualize it. You're dead. Bishop, I'll take your bishop with check. And checkmate. So these are fairly easy. All right, now, if we play pawn takes pawn check, he's going to play rook takes queen. Ha, we lose. So, but we're not going to do that. But we can play queen to E2 check, and he can't really put a piece here because pawn takes whatever piece. Ha, you lose, and discovered check. Okay, he did it. What a jerk. He is going to take, I take his rook. He's going to take my rook with check. No, that's okay. He's not attacking my queen. For a second there, I thought he was going to take my queen, and I realized, no, you're not. Look at this. King is in trouble. I got a bishop that can check him. He's got his, if I check him, he's got one square. It means I'm winning. That's one of my rules. I got another check here. Got one square. Now you have no squares. Checkmate. So that's the king hunt rule. Oh man. This is a decoy. I decoy him to a square that I can checkmate him on. Okie dokie. Well, this is similar to bump and score, but he's already been bumped. So what we're going to do is sacrifice the queen for a rook to remove a defender. Right now he's got two defenders of F8. We have two attackers. That means he wins on that. But now it's 2 versus 1. He loses. Bro. Okay. King and pawn endings. You know that the pawn creates a virtual square 3, 4, 5, 6 by 6. So he needs to be on the F file. He needs to move to the F file before we move to catch our pawn. We're going to trade rooks with this guy. We're going to check him, trade his rook, and then we move, and he'll move to the F file, but the problem is we're already one ahead. We're going to be one square out of range for him. Now, if it's black's move, he draws by moving to the F file and heading to the A file. Problem is, there's the 6 square. Now, it's a 5 square, and he's outside of the square, okay? It's a 4 square. He's outside of the 4. 3 square. He's outside of the 3. This is what is known as the square of the pawn. Every move the square gets smaller. That is a super important rule. I cannot emphasize how important that rule is. Man, okay. This is fairly basic. How do you win this position? I want to get rook to D8. If I can get rook to D8, I'm winning. I'm already winning. I got this pawn is anchored by my bishop, which is fantastic. Rook to D8, baby. He could have played a different sequence, but yeah, it was going to lose anyway. Okay, this is not the same as this is going to be king and pawn endgame where the square of the pawn is not the dominant factor. This one is going to be, in basketball, there's a phrase called boxing out, and we're going to box this king out of the defensive position. Because we're going to mirror his position. Going to trade rooks, turn a rook ending, a rook and pawn ending, or just a rook ending into a pawn ending. He's going to try and get to this square. We're just going to box him out. Stay in between him and the target. Is what I call a shepherd position. Once you reach the shepherd position, you cash the pawn. And that's why it moved to the next problem. Okay, now this is interesting. Hi, hi, hi. What to do, what to do. The first thing that comes to mind here is Queen A5 check. Problem is